Well, good evening, everybody. It's me again. Um, just different room. You know, my favorite is California Juniper. The only problem with California Juniper is that when you collect them, you can hardly do anything with it. You know, this one here is collected, I believe, about 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago. And that's what I do. So I just put them on the side, collect, and just put them on the side. Right now, I even buy stuff now. If the prices are right like that, I'll buy them for demos, for demo tree like that, because they're harder and harder to get now. There's still some good ones there, but you're gonna have to hike all the way to the top. Just like what I said, it's harder and harder to find California Juniper now, like good ones, and because people collect them. This tree here, I'm gonna style this tree more of like what you call naturalistic. You go with the flow, which in fact you still incorporate, your basic Japanese way of styling like that. But sometimes when you crisscross with all some of the branches like that, it's okay because when you see deadwood like this, it's kind of like, wow, that's done by nature. All I did is the end part, and that's how come I collected this, because of this. When I collected this, it's already gin like that. And what I thought of was like a clump. I believe there was another one here, but that one didn't make it. But this one made it, and so is this one and this one too. And all the branches that I needed for this tree to make it like a naturalistic way of styling I have them. You have one little, you have deadwood right here. You have this foliage down here that covers this side, this front, and all you need is this one here. And that's it. When you compare the Japanese way of doing by triangle, on this one here, it's kind of hard because you're actually using your triangle with the deadwood, not with the foliage itself. So a lot of times when you look at the like European way of styling like that, they're more into naturalistic. Walter Paul does that a lot of times. Even the guy that's coming down here, Mauro, yeah, he does that when he sees a tree that has all the characteristics of Yamadori style like that.
Peter, where are you saying metro?
What was that?
Metro something? Natural.
Yeah, natural. Yeah. And why? Because this one here, ain't no way you're going to bend this. It's going to stay there. You can if you split the trunk, then it becomes not natural. You're adding a lot of stuff in doing it. See, what my plans is this one is supposed to be down here, but I just don't want to mess with anything. Although this plant here also has so many fronts. This side has a better front because of the flow of the deadwood. But this one is getting away from you. Unless if you tilt it the other way around, then this is going to be going this way. So I looked at it, and I see this front here is a lot better, where you have a smaller branch right here that would cover this portion. And at one time, this branch here was very long, crisscrossing with this main trunk here, so I cut it in such a way that it doesn't crisscross now. Also, when you have trees like this, try not to cut a lot of the branches. Make it like natural. When you go out there, when you go out digging, you'll see a lot of these. They're weird because all it does is that nobody does it except the wind. The wind over there is almost like every day. And sometimes it's so hard that when you have your pick, you go like this, all that sand's going to go on your face. We've done that. We've done it before. And a lot of times when you're there and if it's so windy, then you can't collect. Especially if you're in the ridge. Next thing you know, you're going to fall off because it is really windy. That's how come they have a lot of the wind turbine, right, Tom? And there's still that gazillion of them there. Also, this one here, when I collected this, I was trying to experiment pumice, and that's what I did. All I did is I put a lot of the pumice. What I have, actually, it's a recycled pumice. I always recycle my pumice. And now all the roots are growing out. You can tell they're really, really, see, established on here. Yes. This one here, probably a little bit of a root ball, but what I did when I got home is I soak it for like maybe an hour and a half like that while I'm trying to prepare my pots and stuff. And after that, I just shake them, Why? If you don't bare root them, what's going to happen when the tree takes, you're going to have the mountain soil in there, and they're hard as a brick. Yeah, if you ever collected, Tom knows that by heart. You gotta, if you collected a bigger tree, you can never carry that down, down there because you're probably averaging like about 60 pounds. What if you're climbing up? That doubles, right? So what I'm going to do is I prepared this tree already by ginning all the branches and cleaning a lot of the branch from here all the way to the top. Before it was like this, and it takes a lot of time just to figure out which one. So right now I'm gonna wire every single one of these, and hoping that I'll finish it within the time frame. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And
Your plan is to leave the tree at the current height it's at?
no. Nope, I'm going to shorten it. It's too tall. Okay, question. With the weather that we have, so how's everybody's trees doing? It's going to be 70 for the next 3 days, and then 60s after that, with rain and so on. And when it rains here in the mountain, it snows. So we're back to winter. So all the trees are all getting messed up because they don't know if it's going to be spring or what. My deciduous trees, they pop and then they lose the leaves, And for those of you that has a lot of California Juniper or thinking of getting one or buying one or something like that, these trees are 100%, not in shade. So you can have it, full sun. And soil mix, it has to be porous. I'm trying another brand right now, which is Grow Stone. I think it's a lot better than this kind, than pumice. I think the only advantages of that is that the color is not like white when it gets watered like that.
Grow stone?
Yeah.
What is the composition of that?
It's recycled glass.
Oh, is that the one that Stuart Shem carries?
I think so. Hydroponics carries. 2 cubic feet is $26. So that's it's It's big.
That's a lot. And it's lightweight, right?
Yeah, lightweight. I can lift the 2 cubic feet. But what it is that you're not going to grow your trees by itself. You still gotta mix it with your, like my mix is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So I have akadama. You have your, scoria or black labrac or red, and then the pumice. Then I use that one. The only difference, because I use them, the water retention on it is much longer. And see this one here, when you look at pumice, the growth stone has like a lot of little holes on it. It is porous and they're sharp, and that's what the roots like. Also, when you have a real nice tree like that, make sure to study your tree. Put on a turntable like this. Keep looking, and if you know how to do Photoshop, you can actually style it by way of Photoshop. Take a picture and start taking the branches, and see if it looks that way. Otherwise, once you cut them, it takes a long time to grow. So.
When will this wire need to come off that you're applying to that?
This one here, probably, I would say a year, because I'm not really strangling the tree. And you notice when I wire, I hold it right here, and all these 3 fingers are guiding them, and then this one is just to turn. And when I reach down here, I go. So I can even talk to you guys and start wiring, because I know my fingers are guiding it, feeling where the next branches are. And sometimes, if you didn't prepare the tree, you'll have another foliage right there, which you don't want. So that way you won't hit it. The best way is wire the tree all the way to the very end, and you can actually reduce them while you're setting the branches. Even wintertime, I don't stop doing bonsai. There's a lot of ways you can do during wintertime. You can make a lot of cuttings. I do a lot of Itoigawa cuttings. You can graft. Once you learn how to graft, that's a different hobby. It's very, very nice if you learn how to graft. The key on grafting is that you can find the trunk and put the foliage you want. So if you get a trunk with all twisted like this, which is a live plant, you can put that scion right there and then air layer it. There goes your shohin. And that's what I do on these. One graft right here. Okay, I remember I was going to take this out. At home, I barely use this. I use sauce all. So. Oh. Now, can we put this in the ground? Will it grow? That's everybody's question. And if you do, and it roots, let me know. You have a magic dust in your yard. What kind of pot? What size? When I repot, I always have a sauce all. Why? When you look at this, the soil is like this, or the pumice about this size. And guess what I do? I flip them with the pot, and I just go. I have a student that studies in my yard, and I go, okay, let me have your tree. And I pick up the sawzall and he goes,
I do the same thing.
you
Unless
know,
it's something that
yeah.
is very, very root bound for years,
Yeah,
in which
yeah.
case you have to comb it out.
And believe it or not, it's the right way. And then they go, Peter, if that's my tree. Well, I haven't killed a tree like that. You might be first, but no. It's the timing. My favorite, this one, I would put kind of like oval because they're like clump, and maybe like this. They said the shallower the pot is, the better artist you are. Sometimes it's true, but if the tree is not ready for that smaller pot, don't do it. Always use your common sense. You may think that, oh, that one has this much. No, make sure. Sometimes it takes years to trim the root ball to the desired height you want, but you got to do it gradually. By the way, there's another club here that meets at the same room, which is the Showing Club, a club that is doing trees within 8 inches and below, and they meet every Wednesday, third Wednesday of each month. Actually, next month we're going to have a meeting here. You may look at it small, but sometimes they're harder. But if you know what you're doing, it's very easy. If you learn how to graft, find the right trunk and then put that foliage where you want it, just like this. Only one graft. Now, if you find this, or if you find something in a nursery, you can do the same thing, buy it, and put the graft. How much do you think would it cost now once you put the graft after a few years? Would it double the price? No. Would it triple? Or would it go down? How much would you think this one costs? Or let's say if it was yours. If they offered you $500, would you sell them? $450. Ma'am, is that for the pot? Somebody, I brought this one time in the Bay Area. A guy wrote a check for $800, and I looked at it. Wow, $800 for what? No, for your showing. No, that's the only one I have. But if you're buying the pot, I'll take your check. Yeah. $500 easy, if somebody sells it to you. But with all this deadwood on it, all around, it'd be more. See? All around.
But if you bought them,
Let's see. Should have read the other one. Oh. That happens.
kids,
Is this crisscrossing here? No. That's it. Let me look at from far. Because